everyone. Today I've got an Illinois duo that I'm going to be picking and gutting. So I've got it all apart here to show you how it works. This is a cam lock. So right off the bat, to put it together, this piece would be, this piece would be right in here. And then this would be inside this housing. And when it's locked, it's retained like this. This would be through another bracket in whatever it was closing. And when you open it, you can see it fits right through that. The cam fits through that hole and it kind of pops out. So that's your open. And you'll see that when I pick it, that it kind of pops out like that. So the way this lock works is inside this housing, you can see that there are 4 ridges there. And when the key is in the lock or it's picked, it rotates freely inside of this housing. However, when the key is removed, you can see that these wafers are not smooth anymore. And so if this was inside the housing, those would catch on those bars when you try to rotate it and you would not be able to move it at all. So that's the locking mechanism. Now, these wafers, there's springs inside of here, so I'm not going to pull the wafers out because I'm not 100% sure how hard this is to put back together, and I really don't want to mess with it. But the interesting thing about this lock is it's obviously it's a wafer lock, but it is double bitted. So if you look at the key, you can see that there are 2 rows here that are important. So there's obviously the top bitting right there. But then on this inner part right here, there's also bitting. And this key is not reversible, so you cannot put it in more than one way. It has to go in this way, and the warding on the lock prevents you from putting it in another way. And then inside here, you can see the wafers. Obviously, right here, this part is manipulated by the top bitting on the lock. But then you can probably see there's some parts right in here, right by my pick tip, and that's controlled by the secondary bitting on this inner portion of the key. So basically 2 different sets of bitting that have to be correct in order for the lock to open with the key. Now in terms of picking, you do have to manipulate both sets. This one I'm not sure if it was unique in that they isolated and I could do the inner ones before I did the top ones. But that may be normal for these. I'm not sure. I don't actually know which wafers on here the inner pins manipulate. But I'm wondering if it's like, see if I can get my pick tip on one. I'm wondering if it's because of the order, like maybe it's these 4 or something, and so that's why it's maybe that's why it no, that can't be right. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why the binding order worked out the way it did, but it did. So anyway, I will get this up in the vise and picked. And again, I'm not going to completely gut this, but once I get it open, I'll take it apart like this and you'll be able to see that all the wafers are intact and in place. So there we go. Let's move over to picking. All right, so I've got my duo here. So when I get open, it's going to pop out just like that. But for now, it's locked up. I'm going to use 3 tensioners together here because the width of the keyway in here is larger than 2 millimeters, which is my biggest tensioner, but it's not quite 2.8 millimeters, which is my biggest one, and my thinnest one smushed together. So I put 3 together here. That makes a 2.6 millimeter tensioner, and that's what I'm going to use. I need a small flag. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick these the inner bitting wafers, whatever you want to call them, because they bind first on this lock. If I can get my flag on them. And the nice part is these seem like they isolate, and then once they're picked, I do not have to mess with them again unless something goes catastrophically wrong. just a matter of getting my flag on there. I might have had it. I should get a little bit of a false set when these are all picked. I may have had it and just missed it. Look at the rear one here. There we go. Okay. Definitely got a full set that time. All right, now for the actual top and bottom wafers. So some of these I'm going to press on directly at the top and bottom, but they also, some of them have a little nub that lines up with this piece of warding right here in the middle. So for some of them I found it was easier just to lift up on that to set the wafer. So I'll do that a little bit as well here. And the interesting thing about this lock is that you get a decent amount of counter rotation when you're setting these wafers, and then also you get a false set that gets progressively deeper, which is kind of fun as you're going through it, so you can really tell your progress. Sorry, I'm trying to visually check the status of some of these wafers, and I couldn't see down the keyway. Check some of these bottom ones here. I'm actually not 100% sure if some of the wafers in this lock are controlled by that inner nub right here. Now that I'm picking it, I wonder if that's the case. I assumed that that was just part of the wafers that were controlled by the top bitting, but now that I think about it, those might be separate. So you might actually have like 3 different, I guess, bittings in play, although the one on the inside is just straight. They just have to be lined up straight, so nothing too tricky about that, but maybe that's why I had some difficulty in the beginning here, just because I wasn't messing with those. I'm gonna try to get this one right here with a flag. There we go. Had to pop that one up there. And yep, so these top ones now. Tensioner's got a little loose there. Nice thing about this is the lock doesn't counter rotate on its own really. So if you lose your tension, you're probably still in perfectly fine shape. Popping these top ones into place. Those all seem okay. Just check some of these bottom ones here. Those all seem okay. Inner ones here seem okay generally. I'm just gonna double check. This first one on the inside here, yeah, it's still fine. It doesn't require you to hit it, I don't think. So I always am a little concerned that I missed it somehow. This one at the very top front is kind of a pain to get to. It seems like it's okay though. I'm just gonna push on it a little bit from here. It seems fine. It feels like I'm caught on maybe one rogue wafer somewhere. So let's double check some of these. Well, the bottom feels fine. Side feels fine. I feel like it's gotta be something on the top here. Oh, there we go. Ready? That's kind of fun. All right, really quick. Just simply here, just so that we can see that the wafers are intact. So first thing, if I remove this screw right here, comes out, and then I'm just going to remove this set screw. That is the rotation limiter, and also holds it in place. So there we go. There's all your wafers. And I'm not going to take those out again, but they are there. And they are sprung. And I'll throw the key in there real quick so you can see the key does work. So there you go. That is picked, partially gutted. Illinois Duo. That's a fun one. I like that the full set gets progressively deeper, and this format is neat because when you pick it, it does that little pop. That's kind of cool. All right, there you go. Thank you for watching.